Hello, everybody. Welcome to Media Boss Live. I am Dr. Barrett Matthews. And for those of you who have been taking part in our series of the 5 days of media strategies that you can act on now, we are back to doing our normally scheduled program where I come and bring you some media content and I bring some guests to you as well. So, this is going to be another one of those great days. I have a great guest for you today on Media Boss Live. For those of you, if it's your first time, just to tell you what we all are about. Like I said, I'm Dr. Barrett Matthews. I run Media Boss Pro. Well, what we do is we work with high achieving leaders and we turn them into industry icons by leveraging media to make it so their clients can not only find them but see them as the go-to person in their industry. So that's what we do. And what we do with Media Boss Live is I bring to you some media content that can help you in whatever your enterprise is, and to have some people here that can share some great things who are doing some phenomenal things in their business and in media. And today I am privileged and honored to have, it's funny to say an old friend of mine now, because I've known him for so long now, but I'm bringing to you Mr. Shay Brown. Let me tell you about Shay Brown. Shay is, and he's an innovator. I've heard people call him a genius. He may not know that, but I've heard people call him a genius. He is the man who put together the evergreen revenue model. He is the founder of the seven-figure sales team. The man runs and hosts the Happy Entrepreneur, the number one nighttime podcast where he interviews business entrepreneurs. He also has a docu series that he is the producer of as well for entrepreneurs. You're going to hear all about this today. So I want to bring to you my friend and my buddy, my pal, Mr. Shay Brown. So Shay, I want to welcome you to let me get this out here so I can bring you on camera, to the Media Boss Live, my friend. How are you?
Well, it's a great day, Barrett. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, man. I love what you're doing. I love your heart to give, your heart to serve, your ability to not only connect with folks, but your ability to make sure that everyone has the tools, the resources, and the processes they need to not only improve their business, not only impact their life, but to help others all around the world, man. So I couldn't think of a better place to be right now than to be right here in this present moment with you. So thanks so much for having me here.
Shay, it's a pleasure, man. And it's funny because, dude, you and I have known each other for some years now. We've worked together. We've shared stages together. We've traveled together. We've done all these things together. And it's been a minute. COVID kind of changed some things for a lot of people and made people pivot on some things that they were doing and change directions. You, my friend, you've changed some directions and done some different things since the last time we worked together. And if you don't mind, I'd love to first to talk about like when we first met and what you're doing now and the changes you've made in your business and what you're doing for yourself right now.
Sure, Brad. I remember one of the times we had a chance to connect. We met many years ago, but we had a chance to really come together pretty strong over at the CEO space. And the CEO space was a place where CEOs would gather. By the way, it was by Rick Hopkins and Odessa
Yeah,
Hopkins
yeah.
back then. They opened up this location to bring CEOs together and to have really one purpose. It wasn't so much to be a workspace as it was to be a collaboration space, by the way. And one of my 12 rules for life, I'll get into it later, but one of my 12 rules for life is collaboration crushes competition. In fact, if you're taking notes, put that down right now. Collaboration crushes competition. So Barrett was there, and Barrett had his business going, and I was there, and there were some other folks that was there, and we had a chance to work together. And isn't it kind of true? I know it's going to sound overly like people say this all the time, but it is so true that when you're able to get together and you have other thought leaders come together, you're able to grow faster. I know people say
Hmm.
iron sharpens iron, and that's true. But a good friend, Barrett, by the name of Dr. George Frazier,
Hmm.
taught me an equation. Oh, gosh, must be about 17 years ago now, that we applied at the CEO space. And that equation was 1 plus 1 equals 2. And it's a very simple math equation. I know you were taught that probably like I was in elementary school, by the way. 1 plus 1 equals 2. But then Dr. Frazier said when you take 1 and 1, normal, notice the multiplier factor there. 1 and 1, it actually equaled 11. And that's what I was able to do when I was able to partner and work on projects with Barrett. It was like 1 and 1 coming together, and we had 11, and that gave us a superpower. So if you're out there right now, no matter where you are in your life, maybe you're someone out there and you're just starting your business. I'm an employee not to make the mistake I made. And Barrett said, Shay, what's one of the mistakes you made? Well, when I first got started, The way I got started is I got laid off, by the way. I only had worked for 2 companies my whole career. I worked for Citibank right after undergraduate. I went to Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, and I didn't do sales. And then after graduate school, I went to Johns Hopkins University, which is also in Baltimore, Maryland. I didn't do sales there either. And then back on May 31st, 2004, whoa, what year are we in now? 2004, I remember walking in. And back then I was a hotshot young whippersnapper. Of course, I'm still a young whippersnapper, by the way. I just had hair back there. That's all I had. That was the only thing different about me, by the way. But I was a young whippersnapper. I had risen all the way up in Verizon to becoming a director. And I knew we had been laying off people. We knew that was the rumor. They told me it was going to happen. And I had laid off people before. Now, if you ever been in a position in corporate America, or maybe as an entrepreneur, where you have to deliver news to someone that their job is no longer there was going to be no financial resources for their family, it can be very, very disruptive. And so I was prepared for a disruptive day. And it was part of the job. And so I thought. And so as I sat down at the moment, I remember my manager walking in, and he sat on the other side, and I was kind of relaxed. I mean, I kind of had that again. Remember, I was a young whippersnapper back then. I had that cocky, like, hey, how are we doing this time? Who's on the list? And this time he didn't say, Shay, this is how we got to do it. He said, I've got some tough news. It's you. Now, he didn't go into all of the, you're a good person. It wasn't your fault. He just got right to it. That's how he was. It's you. I'm going to have to let you go. Whoa. I was hit with a ton of bricks. Have you ever been hit with a punch that you never saw coming? I know I'm going on a rant here, Barrett, but you said what's changed since we got together. And I was hit with that punch that I never saw it coming. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, this can't be happening to me. What did I do to deserve this? And they came and they took my ID and everything, walked me out because I was an officer. They called it officer back then in the bank. And I was let go. And riding home, I had a pity pat party. Now, we didn't have phones like we have now. We had a phone, but it wasn't like you just text someone back there, or you immediately told someone what was going on. I mean, I had what they used to call a beeper back then. Oh, no, I'm so old. I know. Please don't judge me over there, by the way. And then when I got home, I had to do something. And for a while, I thought, no one would hire me. I only know banking. I've only been in the telecom industry for 9 years. Where do I go? What if I get laid off again? Have you ever found yourself just talking about things that wouldn't work? And then I remember talking to one of my good friends. His name is Gary Barrett. I don't know if I ever told this story publicly. And Gary and I was having a conversation. Now Gary's someone who has started a plumbing business. Now, he and I went to Morgan State University together, by the way. He had his own business. I didn't think it was anything of it, by the way. But he had a truck. He had a few people. I mean, just doing, I thought it was side jobs. And he mentioned about starting your own business, man. I'm like, huh? I mean, what? Yeah, you should do that, man. Matter of fact, won't you help me? You know all that corporate stuff. And he wasn't paying me a dime, but I agreed. And that evening, I went down to Kinko's, got some business cards made up. And the next day, I got started in my business, and my card just said, Shay Brown, coach. And I just hung my shingle out the door. Now I'm going somewhere with this, Barry. I'm coming right back over to you, by the way.
Take your time, man. Take your time.
And when I hung my shingle out the door, I got started. Now, have you ever yourself, or you're sitting there, told yourself, I'm ready. Like, I'm going to do this. Like, I was all in. I wasn't dibbling. I wasn't dabbling. I wasn't standing on the sidelines. I had made the decision, and I knew in my heart of hearts, man, if Gary got a business, come on, if Gary got a business, I could probably figure this thing out. It wasn't plumbing, but how hard could it be? And then after about 90 days in business, I was tired. I was frustrated. I was really struggling. And hence, I was out of money. And I learned the golden rule in business. And if you're taking notes, please put this down in your notes. We're going to have a conversation with Barrett, I know, but put this down in your notes. Put this down in your notes. Selling is important in the business. I mean, it's really important. If you can't make sales, you really can't be in business. the golden rule in business is never run out of money. That's your bumper sticker. Never run out of money. I was out of money. But I said I was going to bet on myself. And so I kept going. Now, have you ever kept going and doing something? You had the right idea. My daddy, Marshall Brown, is no longer here. He used to always say the best intentions don't equal the best results. Put that down in your notes, because we're going to go somewhere about business. Hopefully we'll talk about success. But I want you to know the person that Barrett was just talking about earlier, that sounded pretty cool, but I want you to know about the Shay Brown that was struggling, the Shay Brown that didn't have it all together, the Shay Brown that had to go through some things to get to where he's at. I want you to know that person at least for a couple of minutes. And then, Barry can ask me all the cool stuff. Maybe I have a few opinions, but let me take back where we were. I decided to keep going. I decided I was going to bet on Shay Brown. Have you ever decided to bet on yourself? And I was losing. And then all of a sudden I'm upstairs working. This is the point I want to make, and I'm coming down the home stretch. I'm done. I was upstairs working, and all of a sudden there was a knock at the door. And my son said, Dad, someone's still in the car. What? I run down the steps. I look out the door, and there's my Lexus truck. I used to love that Lexus truck, by the way. Oh, I like that pearl color on the outside, brown tan seats on the inside. And it was being taken by the tow man. Now, this wasn't the first time my car had been taken by the tow man. Okay, I know it's a terrible story, but it wasn't the first time. And so I looked over at my sons. I looked over at the tow guy. I gave him what we call the brother nod. He gave me the brother nod back. I looked over at my sons and I said, don't worry. The car is just going to the garage. I lied. Wasn't proud of that. I didn't know what to do. And it was in that moment I had what I like to call the never again moment. Once you look at your own life for a moment, not mine, I'll tell you about mine, but look at your own life. Have you ever had a moment where you told yourself never again would you find yourself down there taking showers with your sons because the water was cut off? Don't judge me, by the way. Don't judge me. Never again would you come home and hit the switch. There was no power. There was no electricity. Don't judge me. Never again would you borrow money from family members that you knew you couldn't pay back, but you wanted to do something so bad and you was trying. What was your never again moment? Maybe you wouldn't hear the news from the doctor again. You need to focus on diet and exercise. Maybe it was you would never look at your bank account and not have the funds available to do the things you want to do or to help someone you want to help. That was my never again moment. And while I felt failure as a father, certainly, at the time I was going through my second divorce. Don't judge me, please. I know, when the money is funny and the change is strange, it makes it hard on a marriage. So my wife had left me. At that point, Barrett, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I was burning through my 401k. Again, don't judge me. But I just felt like it had to be a way. It just had to work. So here's how we were able to kind of get going. And the way we got going was I decided I got an email from a guy by the name of Eric Loftholm. Now Eric was out in California. I had never met the guy in my life, but the email once again said, we're going to help you understand business and we're going to help you speak for a business. What? Sound like a good idea. Problem. $5,000. Now, $5,000 in where we are, 2024, whatever year we're in now, $5,000 is a lot of money in today's time. $5,000 20 years ago was like $50,000. Okay, it was a lot of money. And I went to my brother and I told him I'd like to borrow $5,000. There's someone in California that's going to help me. Have you met him before? No. Did any research? No. What makes you think this guy can help you? Well, I saw the email. Looks like he's doing well. And my brother lent me $5,000. And why do I tell you that story? Because I got out to Rockland, California. And here's why I tell you the story. One idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. Just put that in your notes. You just need one good idea. And what I like about what Barrett Matthews does on this program, a media boss, he allows you to understand and give you as many ideas, as many processes, as many systems as you need. And you only need one, and it can change the trajectory of your life. So I go out there, and Eric Lofton, who was at the time, he was Tony Robbins' #1 sales guy. He was doing a program for the week. He had just started his own business. I know, here I am paying someone $5,000 that just started their own business. Today, it doesn't make any sense at all. It really doesn't. But sometimes things don't have to make sense. Just have to be the right idea for the right person who has the right intent in their heart, and it could change your life. So I got out there with Eric, and this is how I got into sales. And he said, "Why don't you focus on sales, Jay?" I said, "Sales?" Yeah. Now, granted, he wasn't teaching no business things. He was teaching how to stand in front of the room and speak, but he wasn't teaching really business back then. And I said, "Sales training? Nah, that's not me. I'm a business consultant." My pride was in the way. Now, hopefully during this time that Barrett and I have together, you won't be like Shay Brown. Your pride won't get in the way. My pride got in the way. I said, "No, look at my business card. It says Shay Brown, business consultant." But the reality is nobody was hiring me to be a business consultant. Yeah, I changed from Coach Shay at the time to business consultant. I thought that sounded better. And then I said, you know what? Maybe as I learned from him, there might be someone like Shay Brown who's an entrepreneur who had never been taught sales. There might be someone like Shay Brown who hated selling. That's what this conversation that Barrett and I are about to get into in a moment. If you don't want to sell, or you don't like to sell, put this in your notes. The best thing you can do is hire someone who does. But back then, I couldn't hire anybody. It was like, I've got to learn how to do this, because as a CEO, and that's what I am today, back then I didn't see myself as a CEO, I'm still responsible for the sales department. Like, it's still my responsibility. You might say, Shay, why? Why are you talking about sales and you ain't even finished the story yet? Put this in your notes. Please put this in your notes. And it might be one of the top 3 ideas I'm going to share today. Top 3, might be the top 1, maybe number 1. I really don't know. I don't know how many we shared so far, maybe 10 already. But here it is. Selling is the oxygen for every great business in history. And without sales, there's always more money going out than there is coming in. Shay, what's the point you want to make that you learned from Eric? For $5,000, I learned that selling is serious business, because I hadn't run out of money. Put this in your notes. Selling is serious business. I want to say it one more time, a little slower. You might want to write it down. You might want to type it. You might want to take a picture on the screen. I can't put it up on the screen, but you might want to put this right now. Selling is serious business, because selling is the oxygen for every great business in history. And there isn't a business I know in history that has achieved any level of success or sustainability without serving other folks. So, Barrett, that's what I was doing when we have been together for many years. I was teaching other folks how to not only sell, because it wasn't about selling, but I really had to shift their mindset. And put this in your notes if you're taking notes. Selling really boils down to 3 things. 3 things. And then I'll tell you what I'm doing now. And I know that's what Barrett said, Jay. I just want to tell you what I'm doing now. But I had to give you this backstory. Like you had to know the backstory that led me to that defining moment that changed my life forever. Selling is about 3 things. Selling is about the inner game, INNER game. The second way is the outer game, OUTERGAME. And the third way is action. So you have the inner game, the outer game, and you have action. Let me give you a 1-sentence definition. I'll do a little bit of teaching if that's okay right now. I hope you hear what my heart is. It's nothing fancy or anything, but I hope you hear what my heart is. But it's about 3 things. Let's talk about number 1, the inner game, INNER. Selling is about your mindset. It's about your belief systems. It's about your comfort zone. It's about how you think and feel about selling. So if you believe that the world believes that selling is dirty, or selling is nasty, or selling is a used car salesman, or selling is trying to convince someone to do something they don't want to do, that is incorrect. Maybe because the culture we live in has put that connotation that if you can't do anything, get a sales job and try to convince someone to do something. I had that mindset, and it held me back. And then I adopted a new mindset. And if he says, "Shay, I'm not even in sales. I just showed up, man. I mean, I like Barrett. He's a good guy. I'm always learning good principles of sales or of life and success." You can benefit as well, because you are, in fact, in selling. In fact, we're all in selling. Everyone's in sales. I mean, think about this. Think about this if you can. Preachers every single week are selling faith. Are they not? Teachers, my sons are grown. I'm not a grandpa, by the way. My grandkids are not in school yet, but are not teachers every single day? Are they not selling what? Education? Parents. My wife and I call. I'm on my third marriage. Very, very happy. Been together 15 years. We're married. So, just so exciting, by the way. But parents, every day, like us parents, we're selling what? Values. So you, every single day, the number one sale you make to yourself every day is to yourself. So we have to shift our mindset from selling as a bad thing, an evil thing, to just this one idea. Here's another bumper sticker, bumper sticker, bumper sticker. Put this in the bumper sticker. Here it is. Selling equals service. Put that down in your notes. Selling equals service. I mean, I want you, if you don't remember anything else I say, I know Bear's gonna ask me some questions, but if you remember anything else I say, you might be saying, what is it again, Shay? Selling equals service. Selling is about three things. This is just a mindset. This ain't no funnels and systems and all the complicated stuff we do today, by the way. But at the core of where I started at was adopting the philosophy that selling equals service. Selling is about three things, by the way. Selling is, can you solve a problem? So I'll give you an example. I was working with a young lady, and her name was Barbara. And Barbara didn't want to sell. Now, Barbara was in the financial industry, but didn't see herself in sales. Like some of you are entrepreneurs or are parents or leaders, and you don't see yourself in sales. Well, she had a problem. If she didn't start making $5,000 plus a month, she'd have to go get a job. Nothing wrong with getting a job. If you're in these United States of America or probably anywhere in the world, having a job is honorable. It's a good thing. It helps someone else. But that's not what she wanted to do. And so we worked on her beliefs around selling, which she hated selling. I know it's oxymoron. Can't understand. How can you be in business and not want to serve other folks? Because if you're not selling, you ain't serving. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just giving stuff away. I have no idea. But anyway, back to the story. Back to our regularly scheduled time here. So I'm working with Barbara, and I asked her, I said, Barbara, can you do three things? Because selling equals service, and selling is about three things. I said, can you do three things? I said, sure. I said, selling is about education, Barbara. Can you at least educate people that there is a problem in the world? They need some type of guarantee. They need some type of insurance. They need to send their kids to college. They need to be able to prepare in case something happens. They need to have money they can pull from later. Whatever you want to talk about, can you just say there's a problem in the world? Mm-hmm. And she said, I can do that. Okay, selling's about education. Can you educate them? Yeah. I said, number two, selling is about leading. Can you at least share with them how you solve the problem? I like Barrett. Barrett comes out very clear. There's a problem. People need to understand media. People need to be in the digital world. People need to do what you and I and Barrett do all over the world, have digital sales conversations. I know. And so she said, I can do that. I can at least tell them how I work. Right. Whether they work with you or not, can you tell them how you work, how you solve the problem, why your company is on the planet? She said, I can do that. I said, good. I said, third, selling is about moving people to action. Can you at least ask them, would they like for you to solve their problem? I didn't say close them. I didn't say convince them. I didn't say try to persuade them. I don't teach any of those techniques. Never have. I said, ask them, would you like to let us help you? She said, I can do that. I will say that Barbara went on to earn over $5,000 a month. She's still in business full time. It had nothing to do with Shay Brown. I mean, you might say Shay had a piece of it because inside of her equation of business, sales was a component. Without sales, she would have been out of business. But she adopted philosophy. And if we could bring her today, if I could show the video, if I wanted to do that, you would see she would say that selling is about serving. And when she adopted that philosophy, it shifted her energy. So that's number one. That's the inner game. And then there's an outer game of selling. And the outer game is the tactical side of sales. So I used to teach these type of techniques every day, but selling is about the outer game. The outer game is all the things you need to do to make the sale. So it's about your lead generation systems. It's about your appointment setting systems. It's about your closing systems. It's about your ability to put the system together, your sales funnels, in order to get the sales. And she said, okay, now you got the outer game. And think about your own business. Think about where you are right now. Think about if you had a sales system that truly attracted people to you who had an interest, want, or desire in what you were doing, how that would change your life. People sometimes say, I got to convince folks. No, no, you just have to be able to serve and learn how to ask for the offer, at least make the offer. That's part of one of your sisters, make the offer. And Barrett, you and I have a great friend that we have in common. We proud to call him a friend because he's worked with us for so many years. His name, for those that don't know, is Myron Golden.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember working with Myron Golden at being at one of his events. And I think, Barrett, you were there. We were down in Florida. And we were all at breakfast. And this isn't before the Myron you know today, because he's
Right,
still
right.
the same Myron. He wasn't the Myron you know today. I'll just say
He wasn't.
that.
He
But he
wasn't
was the Myron.
famous. He's famous now. He wasn't famous then.
Still funny, still humorous, still all he is. And if he ever sees this, he'll hopefully agree with me that he was still that dude. Okay,
Mhm.
never changed.
Mhm.
But Barrett and I was at breakfast with him. Okay, so you know. But anyway, and I remember sitting down with him and having a conversation. And I'm telling you about the outer game because you need someone to be there with you. And when we're sitting down at Barrett, we were down in Florida, Barrett. I can't remember the name of the conference right now because I wasn't planning on telling the story. But anyway, and we're there and across the table. And I remember him talking about making offers. Now he has something called Make More Offers. But back then he was like, you got to offer, you got to offer. And I was talking to him because at the time we had this product we were offering. I was offering it with a partner called Extreme Business Makeover. And we were so proud of it because back then we were rolling. I was like, yeah, we got an offer. We make some time. It's $25,000. And Myron, who's still Myron? He's still the same guy that I remember. He's sitting there eating his food and he's like, oh, that's great. How's your $60,000 offer? $60,000 offer to serve and help people. 60,000. I mean, yeah, it was 20 years ago. So 15 $60,000. I guess it ain't going well because you ain't got one. I said, no, sir. Right. You don't have one. So you can't help everybody. And I said, well, 25,000 is pretty good, but it ain't 60,000, isn't it? And he was so true. He says, well, if you got one of those instead of two of those. I was like, oh, and I looked at my partner. You could help more people, couldn't you? And he shared a story, Barrett. And I know I've just been on a rant, but he shared.
Dude, I'm loving it, man. Go on. I'm loving it.
I got to share with you because Myron. And I'm not saying I'm not dropping names. I promise you. But Barrett knows him. He knows what Myron's heart is, and he can probably remember. He wasn't in that conversation. He was talking to someone else on the side of us. We was at that restaurant. And I was just blown away. No one had ever asked me something. $60,000? You don't have one? And he said, well, gave this example. And I think he still gives this example today. He said, let me ask you a question. Do you know why Mercedes-Benz created the Maybach? I said, no. I mean, no idea. Who cares, really, right? I mean, I'm thinking, where's this guy going? He's always pulling stuff. You just makes you think, like, what is he talking about? So let me tell you why Mercedes created Maybach. He says, their best customers, I'm summarizing this for your show, Barrett, but Mercedes' best customers were going somewhere else. They were going and purchasing a Bentley or a Rolls Royce because Mercedes didn't have the type of product that could help them. And he said, some of your best customers probably going somewhere else to get some help because you're not helping them. I said, get the LL Cool J out of here. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. And I remember we put together a $60,000 product, which is how we would help someone. And we would do everything. We would outsource bits and pieces of it. And we ended up selling a $60,000 product. We didn't convince anybody, but there was someone that had a need that we could never have served if we didn't make that offer. What's the point I make to you right now as you're listening? One, raise your beliefs as it relates to selling that you're going to serve more. Number two, improve your sales systems. Put this in your notes. There's another bumper sticker. Bumper sticker. Systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals every time. Put in your notes. Systems beat goals every single time because systems are duplicatable, systems are repeatable, and systems is something that you can hand to someone else. Boy, inside the inner game, outer game, Myron shifted my whole business. I mean, my whole mindset sitting at that table. It changed just like that. It didn't cost me a penny. I mean, the flight down there at the hotel, and I was one of the speakers. I went to teach, and here I was being taught, and he's still teaching the same principles today. And I'm like, whoa, Barrett. I don't know if you knew that about it, but it shifted forever. Shifted my thinking.
I actually did. I remember the story. I wasn't at the table with you, but I remember that story. I remember that trip. I do remember it.
Yeah, man, And the reason I tell you that is because yes, there's inner game, outer game, and there's action. But Barrett's question, I don't know how long ago, was, Shay, what are you up to now? Okay, thanks for the backstory. When Myron shifted my thinking from that moment on, I went to think, what's the number one challenge entrepreneurs have today? I mean, my whole mindset shifted. It wasn't about the money. It was about what is the problem that entrepreneurs like Shay Brown has that someone else may have that same problem. You know what it was? The problem wasn't that they didn't like to sell. It wasn't that they couldn't sell. It wasn't that they weren't brilliant and intelligent and could figure it out. It was they didn't want to spend their time talking to people who were unqualified. They didn't want to spend their time in the sales department all day long because they had a gift or a talent or a mission from the person they believed in, whoever you believe in. Happened to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian, by the way, but I happen to be a Christian. My mom was a bishop back in the 70s when it wasn't popular being a bishop as a woman, by the way. I don't know if you know that, Barry. Everything I learned at a Pentecostal church, by the way. We only had 25 people in our church and we had 15 kids. So that told you where I stood, right? I mean, I had to be there. And so it wasn't about just that. What it was about at the end of the day, and here's the point that I want to make to you, is that you have to believe bigger and think bigger. You have to have the systems in place. So the problem that a lot of folks had was they didn't want to really run the sales department. And so, Barrett, what we've been up to since COVID was allowing folks out there to outsource their sales department and allow us as a company to go in and run their sales department so that they could do really three things. This was the transformation that many entrepreneurs are looking for. Number one, they want to have more meaning in the world. But to have more meaning, they needed more money. I'm not saying money is everything. I'm not saying cash flow solves a lot of problems. But if I had a choice to live with money or without money, I want to live with money. Okay, it does give me good health care, by the way. Does allow me to eat the foods I want to eat. Does allow me to send my kids. They both went to HBCUs, by the way. I know Barrett went to Hampton. I went to Morgan State University. My son went to St. Augustine down in Raleigh, North Carolina. My other son went to Clark and then the FAM. But it does allow us to be able to do that. So they wanted to have more meaning in the world, but they needed more money. That was number one. Number two, they wanted to have more impact. They were given gifts and talents from the creator or whoever you believe in the universe. They were given these gifts and talents to serve people out there in the world, and they couldn't serve them if they didn't have the income. They could never make the impact. Shay, what do you mean by that? Well, imagine, again, the good book. I don't want to say this is the Bible class, by the way, but imagine a good book and you're Noah in the book. And imagine you've been given the gift. You've been given the talent. You've been given the voice, the calling, but you had a problem. There's no wood. God, you can't build a boat. There's no nails. You can't put the boat together. And that's what these entrepreneurs needed, Barrett. They needed more income so they could have more impact. And last, they needed the resources. And think about Noah. They needed the resources, an assistant. They needed the resources, a graphic and design team. They needed the resources, business development person. They needed the resources, automation and technology. They needed the resources, a website. They need the resources, a business consulting firm working them. They need the resources that was necessary to execute the vision they had for the people they were called to serve, because without the resources, they can never serve. And then now they're on this planet with a purpose they cannot fulfill. Without the cash, they couldn't fulfill it. I mean, they could fulfill it, the best they could, maybe help a few people here and there and work hard. That's okay. But they wanted to reach more people. And so at the end of the day, I'll summarize this. Dr. Deltor McNeil, you might not know that name, but he said something one time that stuck with me. And he said, would you like to make $1 and a difference at the same time? Yeah. And you know what? Today, that's what we do, Barrett, with entrepreneurs. We're able to help them get to $100,000 a month plus in income by having a sales system in place, a 7-figure sales team that can help them sell, and last but not least, the sales funnels that are necessary to get in front of the people who have a problem that are looking for them to solve. When that happens, they feel better. When that happens, they're doing more good. And when that happens, the world, and then you might say, Shay, that's so over the top. No, I'm telling you now, when entrepreneurs are able to serve with their gifts and talents, the world's in a much better place. Yeah, they leave a legacy, but it's really the lives they change. So, Barry, that's what I'm up to these days, man, helping people make $100,000 a month in income. Turn it back over to you. I took one question, I rambled on. I promise I'll keep them less than a minute going forward. Back over to you, bro.
Shay, look, you're my boy, man. I don't care how much time you take, brother. You're my boy, and it's funny because a lot of the stuff that you were saying, it takes me back to, man. Y'all don't know. I should have told y'all at the beginning. Take notes. I should have told y'all that because, as Shay always said, note takers are moneymakers. And I should have told you because he is famous for the phrase, jot that down in your notes. And I should have told you all to do that. But that being said, Shay, on that move, because we this whole thing is about helping people to build a seven-figure sales team. Now, to a lot of people, that may be something that's just far-fetched. A seven-figure sales team. How can they get started on something like that?
Sure. We're going to start with step one is I just want you to raise your belief.
Mm.
If someone else has done it, so can you. And it is a stretch. For many of you watching right now, if you were able to earn extra $15,000 to $20,000 a month over and beyond what you're earning now, life would be good. But it wouldn't allow you to do the things that you maybe need to do today. And I'm going to tell them how to do it. I happen to be a caregiver. I'm blessed. Mother dear is 77 years old. She worked for the federal government down Department of Commerce on 14th Street. You might not know anything about that, but no, she worked in the same government building for 37 years. Retired at 55, fully retired, never had another job, fully retired. She was able to save money. I don't know how she did it, having 3 kids, and retire at 55 and do some amazing things. And then she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And, we all think we're going to have our health. At least I still believe that, Barry. I'm going to have my health forever, by the way. I think I'm going to run this thing till the wheels fall off. But Parkinson's slowly but surely started catching up with Mother dear. And so now I'm blessed to be a caregiver. I'm blessed that she's able to be in a place I call Disneyland. She don't call that. She calls it a senior retirement home that she doesn't want to be there. But no, seriously, because it's very serious. But she loves where she's at, I believe. But no one wants to be there. But it's a beautiful place, beautiful facility. She's got new friends. She's doing activities every single day. They're taking wonderful care of her. The nurses are right there. The doctors are right there. It's a place that I couldn't afford myself. But thank God I'm in a place to be able to do that for Mother dear. And some of you out there, you have folks who are dependent on you, or you want to do more for others than you can. So yeah, $100,000 a month is like a far fetch. But is it possible? The answer is yes. Here's the philosophy I want you to adopt. I'm going to give you the components of a seven-figure sales team right now. There are 5 components. I'm going to give that to you. But I want you to adopt this philosophy. It's not a Shayism. Okay, it's not my own idea, but I adopted it. And here it is. If someone else has done it, so can you. Doesn't matter industry. Doesn't matter the time. Barrett, I'm fortunate every single morning we do something on the CEO Sales Huddle. I host a podcast in the morning called CEO Sales Huddle. And I get together with CEOs all over the world every morning for 15 minutes. That's 1% of the day. There are 1,440 minutes, and every day I only ask for 1% to be part of their sales meeting. And as they come onto the broadcast, and I'm sharing a case study every morning. We've done over 200 plus case studies of businesses, and we always break down who they are, what their challenges was, and what turned it around, and how are they successful. And it all comes back to they had a smart sales system, they had a sales structure, and a 7-figure sales team. I mean, that's how it boils down to. So if they have done it, so can you. So here are the 5 components of a 7-figure sales team. Because if you were asked the question, Shay, how do I get to 7 figures with a sales team? You might think I got to go hire somebody. No, bingo, wrong answer. I'm glad you're here. You can thank Barrett. By the way, if you want what I'm about to share, Barrett, I'll just give it to them now. If they want the details, if they want to get all my notes from today, and they want to be able to have it at a much deeper level, they can just text the word CEO. So the word to text is CEO. The word to text is CEO, because you are a CEO, by the way. The word to text is CEO to this number, 202-270-1662. Now, that's my personal cell. Now, all y'all not going to do it. Statistically speaking, you're all not going to do it. Here's the good news. You can. Text the word CEO to 202-270-1662, 202. Don't write it down. That's so 1980s, by the way. That's so freaking 1980s. Just get your phone out and do it now. 202 270-1662. Include your first name. I'm requiring that. So you got to include your first name so I know who you are, because we got to email it to you. Some of you want us to send you a link. Include your last name. So in their first name and last name. Then include the best email. We'll text it to you because some of you like to get it right on your phone because that's your whole business right there. But we're also going to email it to you as well. For some of you, some of you still like email. So we'll email it so you can put it in your secret file. And my promise is I'm going to send you the 7-figure sales team playbook, and that'll go in much more detail, okay? And it's going to help you. And my promise to you, it will change the trajectory of your life. You know, sometimes you show up for Barrett on these Media Boss Lives, and it's no big deal, right? I show up sometimes with things. It's just no big deal. I just show up and I learn something, and it's a good day. Then other times I show up and I get one idea. And don't underestimate a small hinge swinging a big, big, big door. Sometimes I get one idea. And that one idea, like I had with Myron Golden sitting down over breakfast, 15 plus years ago, changes the trajectory of your life. That's what having a 7-figure sales team will do. So there's 5 components of a 7-figure sales team. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't figure it out. I'm going to lay it out right now. We're going to do that in the next 2-3 minutes. Here it is. Component number 1 is you need a sales rep. Now, you might say, Shay, that sounds obvious. No, you need a sales rep that you're going to pay 100% commission. You're going to subscribe to this philosophy. Put this in your notes. Bumper sticker, bumper sticker, bumper sticker. Put this in your notes. Success is a team sport. You can only get so far by yourself. So you're going to pay, I did say pay, 100% commission to someone or a group of folks that are going to be selling your products or services. Doesn't that make sense? It makes sense. You might say, Shay, I can't afford it. Come on, Shay. Well, if I had a whiteboard, I would put down here, let's imagine you're making $20,000 a month right now. And let's imagine that you decide to pay a 20% commission. I'm making that number up. Some of you is higher, some of you is lower. 20% of $20,000 is $4,000. So let's imagine you make 20, you hire someone, you train someone, you can work with our company, we'll do that for you, and they go sell and they bring in 20,000. You got your 20, you got the other 20. You weren't there. You was at the beach when this person was working. You was on here with Barrett right now in this type of session. And then you pay that person $4,000. And now you got $16,000 left. So I don't ever want to hear you say again, I can't afford a sales rep. I want you to ask the question, who can I work with that can help me have a sales rep on my team that I have 1, 2, 3, or 4 people who are selling that are making 100% commission. That means when you get paid, they get paid. That's one idea. Now, so number 1, when I see you the next time, maybe Barrett has me back in another year or 6 months or whenever, I want you to raise your hand and say, you know what, Shay, I hired a sales rep and it changed my life. Maybe you get to $100,000+ with just that sales rep. Maybe you get to another $20,000 with just that sales rep. But I promise you'll make more money with someone than you do by yourself. Number 2, there's 5 components. I said 5 components. The second component that you need is you need a sales affiliate team. Now, the sales affiliate team is different than the sales rep. The sales rep works on 100% commission. Got it, Shay. Check that off. They only get paid when I get paid. And they understand all your products and services, and they're part of like the family. Then there's the sales affiliate. They're more of a mercenary. They're only in it for the money. But here's the cool part. They're able to promote your product and services in places you're not in spaces you're not in, and they get paid when they bring people into who you are. So you think about Apple. Now, I know none of you use the Android, but I believe that God is a woman and she created Apple. I couldn't resist that. But anyway, but you think about Apple, you think about, you go to the Apple store. Inside the Apple store, Apple only makes 30% of the products in there. The other 70% that they're selling is from somewhere else. And you can do the same by having a sales affiliate team. Bumper sticker, bumper sticker, bumper sticker. Put this in your notes. You don't have to be the answer to all your clients' problems. It's just as profitable to be the bridge. I feel you. I feel you. So now you got a sales rep. You got a sales affiliate. The sales affiliate is a mercenary. But once again, they're in places. So if you're a coach and you partner with someone who does websites, you now can be an affiliate of them. They can be affiliate of you. It doesn't matter. It works. And I don't know if one person is successful in business that doesn't have at least a sales affiliate team, even if you don't know who they are. Isn't that kind of cool? Number 3. So you got component number 1, sales rep. Check, Shay. Component number 2, sales affiliate. Got it, Shay. Component number 3, a sales ambassador team. What is a sales ambassador team? I'm glad you asked. The sales ambassadors, they're not in it for the money. They're in it because they believe in your mission, your goals, and your objectives. Maybe these are folks that are in your inner circle. They didn't see themselves as sales ambassadors, but they are. Maybe it's the folks who just believe in what you're doing. And what they're looking for as a result of sharing your message, sharing the good you're doing in the world. And we've been so blessed with so many folks. They don't call themselves sales ambassadors, but they're out there every day and they're talking about the good that we're doing in the world. And as a result, we have conversation with people, at least share how we can solve their problem. And without them, we couldn't be who we are today. It's not about Shay Brown. It really isn't. It's about the team. It's about the system. I said systems beat goals every single time. The sales affiliate, sales ambassadors, they're in it for rewards and recognition. Put that down in your notes, please. Don't miss that. Rewards and recognition. Now, you can use different contests for them. They like to get an iPad as a winner. They like to get an iWatch. Maybe if you're having an event, they bring so many people to your event, they get an iWatch. No, I ain't saying about Android, but I ain't got nothing against Android. Android is cool. I just happen to be an Apple guy. Okay, I just happen to be an Apple guy, and I'm so old. That's just what we do. We identify. Can you imagine? I don't know. I don't make any money off Apple. I got some stock, but other than that. So now you've got it. Sales rep, check, Shay. I can do that, Shay. I can do that. Yeah, you can. You don't need me. And if you text the word CEO to my number I gave you earlier, 202-270-1662, 202-270-1662, text the word CEO with your first name, your last name, your phone number, and email, best email, will send you the 7-figure sales team playbook. And that playbook talks about how to hire someone, how to train someone. It goes in details. Sales affiliate, what software to use, so you don't have to work as hard, and some of the best AI software that exists for sales teams out there. And I believe that's important because sales always drives the conversation. Okay, it always does. It always does. Sales drives marketing, by the way. Marketing never, ever, ever drives sales. Now, if you have Barrett, have other people here, they would disagree with me wholeheartedly. But remember, we do pay a salary for every department in the whole company. If there's no sales, no one gets paid. Period. End of story. Okay. Sorry, Barrett, I had to get my plug in. Number 4. I want you to put this in your notes. Don't miss this. Digital sales solution. Your digital sales team. So your digital sales team. Now, your digital sales team is important for those folks that are in the online space. And I don't know anyone today that's in business that's not in the online space. Okay, I just don't know anyone. So it's kind of weird to say if you have an online business. It doesn't matter. You're online, okay? And you think about that. Your online system. If you had to go in today and we had to do a self-analysis, and that's what all successful people do. They look at what's working and what's not working. They go back and review the good and the bad. And let's say we did a check, and you're like, I want to get to $100,000 a month minimum, or I want a 7-figure sales team. My company has to grow. I would say, well, how much revenue did you generate over the last 30 days from just your sales team without your labor being involved? The answer might be 0 or not enough. Okay, no worries. How much revenue did you generate from a sales affiliate team? You put together a sales affiliate system. You had heard about it. It's like diet and exercise. You heard about it. You know about it, but you hadn't really fully embraced it, okay? You hadn't embraced exercise in 5 to 6 days a week. You hadn't embraced taking supplements, whatever it is in your life, saving more than you spend. So you embrace the idea. You now have a sales affiliate team. Money's coming in. Maybe the answer is 0 or not enough. The last 6 months with sales ambassadors, the people that are close to you, that believe in what you're doing, they're like the inner circle. We was at CEO Space, not CEO Space, CEO Cafe.
Yeah,
we were like, we saw anyone within a mile of where we were. We're like, gotta check out CEO Cafe. This place is amazing. It's incredible. We didn't have to sell it. We just told them what we were feeling in our hearts. And I believe many people signed up for that place, heard about it, because of all the ambassadors. And Rick and Odessa, bless their heart, they're still good friends. I'm able to see them virtually all the time. They didn't call anyone a sales ambassador, but that's what we were. We really were. Now, the next one is the digital sales solution. So digital sales solution, how much money are you making online with your labor not involved? Let me give you an example. Barrett, it was during the pandemic. I'll tell a quick story. It was during the pandemic, and I got called in to work with a company that had got some PPP money. And back then, I don't have time to define what PPP is. I know it sounds so crazy these days, but just know the government was giving money away to small businesses during a very challenging time. So they got all this manna from heaven, and they had spent it on marketing, which they should have, and they were running ads, which they should have. They had spent over $60,000 on ads, but they had a problem. You know what the problem was? Sales wasn't coming. Okay, nothing wrong with it. They weren't doing anything wrong. It just sales were not coming in online. So finally, I guess they said, let's call the sales guy. So I show up, Barrett. Was virtually kind of like we are now. The folks on there didn't look like me. I mean, you see who I look like, right? You do see who I look like. Okay, they didn't look like me, didn't sound like me. And I'm on there, and finally, the guy who's in charge with, I say the marketing, he says, okay, what does your guy have to say? So she looks at him and says, Shay, what do you think? Have you looked at their website? Have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? And I was very relaxed. I just said, yeah, I've looked at everything. I think I'm going to save you guys $1 million today. And they all got quiet because they had me here talk about a 7-figure sales team, I'm sure. But let me put $1 million back in your pocket now. I looked at the website. I got a question. I said, what is the purpose of a website? And they looked at me like, this guy done lost his mind. What do you mean what's the purpose of a website? No, seriously, I'm just curious. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I was being funny, but we're all on the same page. So I said, the purpose of a website, Shay, is to make sales. We send them to the website so they make sales. I'm glad we're going through this exercise. I like to know where you're going here. And I was cool as a cucumber. I wasn't upset. I had emotional intelligence. I don't even know what that means. Emotional intelligence. That kind of funny. But anyway, I said, well, that's the problem. The purpose of a website prior to COVID was to send people to the website and hopefully they bought something from the website. And that used to work. But once upon a time, Kodak believed they didn't need a digital camera, right? And Kodak, who created the camera, by the way, is no longer with us. Okay, remember, you can't even find a Kodak camera any doggone where, right? I said the purpose of a website is not to sell anything. The purpose of the website is to identify people who have an interest, want, or desire. The challenge you have is on your website, you have the price still on the website. So you're sending all the traffic to the website. Those that buy, you thank the Lord. Those that don't, they go away, and you have to then do retargeting or whatever you want to call it in your fancy language these days to follow them around the website and hope they circle around back and you dump more money. What if? Now, I didn't create this. This isn't a Shea Brown creation, but I believe systems. They beat goals every single time. I said, what if we change that? Today's time, the purpose of a website is just to identify the problem. Say, here's all the problems that exist. We have a solution. If you want to know how we have the solution, put your first name, last name, phone number, and email in. That goes in. Once that goes in, it's the front end of the sales funnel. It ain't a sales message. It's a sales funnel. Then we have the information. Those that buy, buy. Those that don't, we have a follow-up team or system that's following up with them. But what if instead of you being able to say how many hits you had to look at your CRM, and we know that leads represent hope, and you had to say we had in here 3,000 people who were interested but didn't buy, but they were at least interested. Wouldn't that be different? They changed the website around, Barrett, and they put up a second page, which I said the purpose of the checkout page is to provide value. It's not to sell them, it's to provide value. So here you tell them all the problems, and then here you provide value. Put this in your notes, bumper sticker, bumper sticker, bumper sticker. Price only matters in the absence of value. Put that down in your notes. Price only matters in the absence of value. Now you're giving them value in exchange for the problem, and they can make a buy-in decision. So I just want to give you an example of a digital sales solution. There's so many out there, but I wanted to share it with you because for some of you out there, that'll help you. The last one, Barrett, is a sales cheerleader. I'll do a recap. I'm not going to talk about cheerleader. I know where we are in time, but number one is you have a sales rep. 7-figure sales team is not just one person. It's 5 components. Component number one is a sales rep. They work on 100% commission. Component number 2 is a sales affiliate team. Any one of these will get you there, by the way, but I'm going to give you 5. Give you 5 ways, because in life, sometimes when you have a sales wagon wheel is what I call it. It has spokes on it, and it's all the spokes that come together to make the wheel work, okay? So you got number 2 is sales affiliate team. They're in it for the money, but they're in places and spaces you're not in right now. And it's a win-win for both of you. Number 3 is a sales ambassador team. These are people who believe in your mission, your goals, and your objectives. They come from the heart. It just, my wife doesn't see herself in sales and she hates sales. She always said, I don't know how you do it. And I said, baby, you sell all the time. No, I don't. No, I don't. And Barry, you're not gonna believe this. We were out for the last 30 days. We were in Puerto Vallarta. I was on
Mm-hmm.
vacation, having a good time. And you should have heard my wife on the phone, by the way. And I caught her one day afterwards. We went to this restaurant and she's on the phone and talking to someone saying, yeah, and you got to check this out. The food was amazing. They give you service when you come in. Everything is white. They sit down. The wine was delicious. Oche had the dessert. I actually had this, that. When she got off, I said, oh, you're so full of it. You're really a good salesperson. When you believe in something, you don't mind sharing it. And isn't that what ambassadors are at the end of the day? The people who believe in something so deeply that they just share it with others. Like going to see a good movie that makes you laugh and cry. You can't wait. A good concert. Janet Jackson, Beyonce. I know some of y'all have some other concerts, but yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to go. A lot of reasons. And then number 4 is a digital sales team. That's your online digital sales system that's operating 24 hours a day and you're never there. If it's not generating leads and it's not making the cash register go ching, 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 then we got to fix that sales funnel immediately. Immediately. The only purpose of it being in existence is to identify people who have a problem. So those leads are going into your database every single day. Leads represent hope. Those are people who have a problem. And number 2, it goes ching, 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 ching. And you might say, Shay, why do you keep saying leads? I'm done after this, Barry. You might say, Shay, why do you keep saying leads? Why do you keep saying leads? You need a sales cheerleader, and the sales cheerleader are people you've done business with, and they can go out there and echo your voice, and they can act as credibility. The reason I say that I want you to focus, you might say, Shay, where do I focus? I want to get to $100,000 a month. I get that all the time. And I say, focus on one area. Focus on finding people who have a problem and sharing how you solve it. Just make that your singular focus. Okay. Michael Jordan. Some people argue say he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I don't happen to believe that. I was a Kobe fan where you think he was greatest, or a LeBron fan, or whoever it is. Even if you hate sports, you'll get this analogy, right? But he is someone who's won 6 championships, 6-time MVP. He's won so many awards. I mean, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. But he was having an interview, Barrett. I don't know, this had to be 20 years ago. And I remember watching the interview, and they asked Michael Jordan a question. There was a young reporter there that was asking Michael Jordan. Now, back on the court, they called him MJ, by the way. But anyway, he said, MJ, how were you able to do all the things you did? People want to know. And I was like, wait, I want to know. I mean, tell me. I mean, I want to know, how did you become the Michael Jordan? You know what Michael Jordan said in his own silky smooth voice? I can't emulate his voice. I'm not that guy that can do voices really well, by the way. But anyway, he said, I'm not Jamie Foxx. But anyway, he said, my job was just to do 2 things. My job every single day was to get up and play basketball at the highest level possible. That was my job. I said, whoa, okay, taking notes. And you know, when I wasn't playing basketball at the highest level, my job was to go practice in the gym so I could play basketball at the highest level possible. Your role as a CEO, you got one role as a CEO. I'm not talking about the sales department. You watch it as a CEO. Your number one role every day is to make sure the company gets in front of people who have an interest, want, or desire. There's a problem. They want more, that's still a problem. And whenever you're not looking for people, your next job, you're either in front of people who have a problem, sharing how you solve it, and that could be through your digital platforms. And that's what Barrett's all about, digital platforms. Some of you are watching this here, and we're not even live, and you're watching it. Or you're out looking for people who have a problem. You do those 2 things. Here's my close. You do those 2 things. You solve a problem, you will get to $100,000 a month or more. Why? Because people will pay you today if you help them solve a problem today. Get out of the selling business and be in the people solving business. You do that, and your sales will go up, 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 and away. Back over to you, Barrett. You're amazing, Barrett. You're incredible. I love what you're doing. I love this platform. I'm here to support it any way I can, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. I love it. Dr. Barrett
Shay, man, I
Matthews.
think you have no idea, Shay, how often I am still using some of the things I learned from you years ago. I mean, I'm still using those things that and not only that, I still repeat some of the things that I learned from you. So thank you so much for that, for what you just gave today. And guys, I want to make sure that you all understand one thing, that Shay is doing so many things, not only in sales, he's working in media too. He's helping entrepreneurs with docuseries. He is also the host of the Happy Entrepreneur. If you haven't checked out the Happy Entrepreneur, y'all don't know what you're missing. I'm just telling you, check out Shay. Shay is he's a wonderful person. You can tell from his heart. And Shay, it's funny. I always tell people when I hear people say that I hate sales, and I say you're lying, and they go, "No, I hate it." I said, "Have you ever made a sale?" And they go, "Well, yeah." I said, "Did you hate it?" And they go, "Well, no." I said, "So you don't hate sales. You need to learn how to sell." And someone like Shay Brown, guys, can help you to learn how to sell. And he can also help you put together your sales team so you can have sales reps do it for you, or affiliates, or ambassadors. So just get with Shay Brown. Shay, I just want to thank you one more time, my friend. And I'm gonna scroll across the screen everything for people to text you. Text the word CEO and Shay put 202-270-1662. Make sure you do that. Put your first and last name and your email address. But Shay, thank you again for joining us here on Media Boss Live. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you. And I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, man. The world needs the message. There are people all over the world right now that are suffering, and you're able to help them not only in the media space, but what I like about what you're doing is you uplift their spirits while still helping them in business and still helping them get in front of other folks. So you got a dual responsibility, man. My hat is off to you. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Stick around, buddy. I want to talk to you some more. Everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us here on Media Boss Live. Make sure you share this with everyone. Share your notes too. Let everyone know what you learned. I want to hear your questions, your comments. I want to see them all in the chats. Let everyone know what you got from Media Boss Live, and I'll see you next time. And as I always say before we go, understand, everyone, you are someone special because you are God's vessel. We'll see you next time, guys.